himself last night about that misplay. Did you talk to him afterwards? Did you give him any encouragement?
Yeah, I talked to him. We was actually locker mates in that locker room, but I told him that one play don't define him. He's not the reason we lost. Everybody had plays in that game that they want to have back. I have multiple plays in that game I want to have back. Everybody in that locker room felt like they was the reason uh, that we lost, and that's why we're the team that we are. We love each other, and we just want to go out there and perform our best. Yesterday we didn't do that, and that's why we're in the situation we're in.
Emmanuel, when you, I know it's still kind of fresh, but when you get a chance to reflect on the season, what'll be the things that you take away from this year?
It was just a crazy ride, I would say. Starting off on 3-5, and no one projected us to be in the NFC Championship. I just love this team. The grit of this team. I love everything about it. Every moving part that played into the season. It's just amazing because I talked to Ambry Thomas, and I just was telling him like from the time that he played in Detroit to now that he's to this last game, it was just amazing like how much he's improved. So it's just exciting to see, and I know the growth will continue to go. And I'm just excited to see where this team will be next year.
I was going to ask you about Ambry. I mean, it seems like heading into 2022, I know that's way off in the distance, but it seems like you and he are the likeliest candidates to be the starting cornerbacks. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on that and maybe a little bit more on what you've seen from him and his growth from September until now.
Right. I mean, his growth has been tremendous. It's just crazy to see a guy like that come in. You can see he wasn't as confident as first, but his confidence is there, and you can see as he go on the field and play, he's guarding some of the best receivers in the league. He's coming down, making tackles. You can just see his confidence growing in practice, just the way that he communicates to us now. Very excited to see what he's going to do next year.
Emmanuel, when you look at the rookies and with Jason Verrett going down so early, how much responsibility did you feel as a veteran to really help bring them along?
I would say a lot, but coming into this year, I told myself that I'm the vet in the room, and I need to be the leader on the field and off the field. So I already knew that was the task that I had, and I felt like I'd done a good job. But I know I can take it to the next level, and I'm looking forward to doing that next year.
Last one.
Emmanuel, first of all, congratulations on the season. It obviously didn't have the finish you all wanted, but at the end of the day, as you mentioned, it was something that a lot of people didn't expect from you all. Reflecting on the season and you personally, I know it's early on, but what are you most proud of, and what do you look forward to improving in for the next season?
Yeah, I would definitely just say, like I said, a team starting off 3-5, everyone count us out. But no one in the locker room blinked. No one counted us out in the locker room. We always trusted each other, believed in each other, even from the owners, the GMs, the head coaching. We always believed in each other, so that's what I'm most proud of, that we stuck together like a family. And for me, like I said, I just want to continue to be a leader, continue to improve on the field and off the field. And that's pretty much all I can say, and I would definitely be happy to get a full season in.
All right, last one.
Emmanuel, you mentioned a couple times improving as a leader. What was the most challenging thing for you, kind of trying to take on that role this year?
I'll probably say, as you know, I was on the field, but I was off the field as well with injuries. So I just want to get a full season in, so then I can show the guys how to be a leader on the field. And then off the field, I feel like I'm a pretty good leader. I talk to the guys and encourage the guys and just hang out with the guys.
Okay, thank you, Emmanuel.
See y'all, man.
Spoke recently, about looking at some of these final games with Jimmy as their last games and the emotions that went into it. How was that yesterday, kind of during the game, after the game, and have you had time to process that?
Yeah, during the game, I really I wasn't thinking about it too much just because we really felt like we were going to win that game, and it didn't feel like things were coming to an end until it actually did happen. But afterwards we had time to hang out in the locker room, hang out on the plane and whatnot, and kind of process those emotions. And it wasn't easy, but I've expressed to you guys and to him privately just how much I've appreciated Jimmy, and what an awesome teammate and just a brother he's been, to me and all the other guys. So, it wasn't easy, but, we love him and we wish him the best.
Kyle, the kind of obvious follow-up to that is, Trey, you got to see him all year. You've been around him, see him develop. What do you think is his state of readiness, assuming it goes the way we think, and he's going to be the guy next year?
Yeah, assuming if that's the case, I think I'm excited to see what he does with this offseason, because I've seen what kind of work ethic he has. I've seen what kind of drive he has, with the type of person he is, and I know he's one that's going to dedicate everything to preparing himself and getting ready, and being ready to lead this team if that's what he's asked to do this next season. And I think he's definitely going to be the type of guy that's going to, step up to the plate and be ready to do that.
Hey, Kyle, after a season ends in the playoffs, no one looks ahead and says, I don't know, next year's not going to be too good. But, it does seem like you guys have reason for optimism as you look to the future. What are some of the biggest reasons to you, to think you could be back in the same place, if not further, next year?
Yeah, I think the easy answer to that would just be to point out the type of talent that we have and the type of young talent that we have and guys that are going to be here for a long time. I think that's the easy answer, but I think what the real answer is what we went through this season and the type of resolve and resiliency that we found and established as a team. That's not easy to do. You have to go through things in order to do that. And yeah, you can collect a lot of talent and put a lot of good football players on the field, but it's not enough to win a championship in this league. It really isn't. But the fact that we were able to overcome so much this season and know what it takes to do that, I think that bodes really well for us going forward when you can combine that experience with the talent that we do have.
Couple more.
Kyle, you've been one of the guys who said how special this locker room is since you've gotten here. What about this year? Is it even more just because of what you've gone through? And then also, what did you learn about yourself this year?
Yeah, no, it really is. It really is special, and I truly believe that we have one of the best locker rooms in this league. And I think you're right, because we went through so much together this year. I think it's made it even more special. And true friendships and bonds are made by going through adversities with one another and having shared experiences. And when you go through a season like we did with one another, it really truly does bring you closer and tighter together. And I think I just learned that I'm surrounded. It's not just on me. It's as a competitor, as an athlete. It's you always want to shoulder as much of the adversity you want to shoulder as much as you can yourself. But I think I just learned this year that I have a whole locker room full of guys that can take on a lot themselves. I'm surrounded by really tough, gritty, resilient people, and it's not just on me. And I can truly rely on my teammates.
Last two.
Question about a different Trey Sermon. You've got two rookies in your room going into their first full off season.
Mm-hmm.
Do you give advice to them? And if you could, what would your advice be, especially for Sermon, who didn't really have a huge role for a big chunk of the season for you guys?
Yeah, most definitely. I've talked to both of them a lot, and I told them I want to continue to reach out to them in the off season, answer any questions they have. And I spoke about it earlier in the season. In regards to Trey Sermon specifically, my rookie year, I played 4 offensive snaps the entire year. I was only on special teams, and that changed quickly in my second year. I became a full-time starter, and my career went on from there. And that's possible for him too. But it takes an off season of dedicating everything you have, to your craft, to this profession, and just really becoming a better player. And I've given some tips to both him and Mitch on what I think is expected from both of them. And just because I have eyes, I've been in the league for now I'm going to go into my 10th year after this off season. So I've seen a lot of players come in and out, and I feel like I have a good feel of the type of things that they're looking for and what sticks around in this league. So I just try to help them, point that out to them and let them take care of it from there.
Last one, Eric.
Hey, Kyle, I know the Cardinals through the years have really made a concerted effort to stop your guys' running game. And it seems like the Rams, tried to do that too. I don't know if they, were doing the same type of, you're in the same type of scheme or whatever, but was it similar in that way in the way they were selling out?
Similar to Arizona?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about it, till you point that out. But yeah, it's similar in that way, and I think that's something you can expect when you're, playing a division opponent who, you've already seen twice earlier in the year, and this is the third go around. They without a doubt know us better than anyone else. But yeah, I mean, hats off to LA. They're extremely aggressive, extremely downhill on defense, and they presented us with some looks that we hadn't seen, and they did a good job. They had a good plan, and it worked out well for them.
Thank you, Kyle.
Yep. Thanks, guys. That's not mine.
Through this season, what did you learn about yourself?
What I learn about myself? I've learned that everything that you do in the off season leads to the season. The work that you put in is what you reap in the end. You just deal with a lot of stuff and see how you can deal with it. See how you can be the same person every single day, even when you're not having your best day. And it made my life a lot easier being around a team that could support me in times that I wasn't at 100%. I wasn't myself, and so that was very awesome and beneficial. And the more I'm in the league, the more I learn how, whether it's the turnover of organizations and people and buildings and stuff like that, from players, coaches, just the wear and tear, and how hard a long season is, especially 17 weeks with one bye week. It's a long season that takes a toll on your body, but it just makes me really appreciate like I said, the team that I have, and also the owner we have that provides all the rehab and rehabilitation stuff that we have access to throughout the week, which allows our best players and our team to play at a high level regardless of injury. So just being able to deal with adversity has taught me a lot about myself.
I know you worked a lot last off season on balance beam stuff and foot and ankle. Is there a focus? You have an idea yet on what you want to kind of hone in on this off season?
Yeah, we've thought about it a little bit. I have a circle of people that helps me with those types of decisions, and in the last couple months, they've been working with the people that I work with in the off season to try to make a plan that makes the most sense. And whether that's a little bit less here, a little bit more there, I don't want to give away all my secrets to you guys, but I'm looking forward to it. And we've, I might not be training here for a little bit. I'm going to take a little bit of time off, let the body recover. But no, I'm looking forward to this off season because there are definitely steps and strides to still be made, just as myself as a player and as a person. And I think I can accomplish a lot of those things going into next year.
George, you said yesterday that physically you're going through some stuff.
That's not what I said.
I don't think you said stuff. You might have said a different word. Are you going to need any sort of off-season surgeries? And kind of to elaborate on what you just talked about, what is your plan? Is how much time do you just take off, let your body rest before you get back grinding?
No, luckily I don't need any types of surgeries. It's awesome. My recovery process will be take a couple weeks off and let the body heal. And if I still feel pain in 3 to 4 weeks, I'll call my trainers and let them know I need something else. But fortunately, it's nothing that it's just rest is what my body needs at this point. But I made it through the whole season, which I'm pretty proud of. What was your second part of that question? All right, good.
George, you've talked a lot about your yoga practice, and it's kind of a strange question, but how has that mindfulness helped you in the last, let's say, 18 hours?
Mindfulness is something that I always try to practice. The yoga stuff does definitely help with it, but last 18 hours is, we lost the game, and while it's terrible and it's not fun, and what I usually say, it does suck. You gotta enjoy the moments that you did have, because I'm not a person that's just gonna sit in my airplane seat and wallow for the hour trip flight and just be sad about it. You gotta enjoy the moments with the people that you're around, because I think Jimmy said it best last night. Smile because it happened. You just want to embrace those moments, and obviously you want to look back and learn from those mistakes and all the things that went wrong, and you want to be better from them. But at this exact moment, you just got to enjoy it, no matter how bad it sucks, and you just got to enjoy it with the people that are around you, and just like I said, you just got to embrace it.
Couple more.
Hey George, before you went in IR early in the season, I think John Lynch said you felt like the sensation of like your calf was, a knife was going into your calf. Not great. Did you aggravate that? I mean, I don't know if you ever were fully recovered from that, but did you aggravate that later in the season?
No, it was just kind of a thing I was dealing with the whole season, but like I said, it's more of just lower body injuries.
George, a minute ago, you mentioned the chance to kind of just relish the moments that you have with people. With Jimmy last night, did you take a moment to talk to him, to have anything like that where, maybe this is our last flight together, anything like that? What was that like?
Yes and no. Like I said, immediately following that, and you're on the buses for a while and you're waiting to get on an airplane. Like, you spend a lot of time talking with all the guys, and it's more of a not really wanting to think too far into the future because of all the unknowns. And, I'm not going to spend my last, whatever it is, 2-3 hours with this team because of how different it's probably going to be next year. I'm not going to spend it just thinking about what's going to happen. And I just kind of spent all last night just enjoying what did and enjoying those last couple hours I had with that team, because it will be very different coming up.
Thank you, George.
Thanks, guys.
Kind of ask you to reflect on this season from, how things started, those conversations you had with Kyle. I can't imagine that early in the season it was pleasant for you. How proud are you of the strides you made and where you ended the season from a personal standpoint compared to how you started the season?
Well, I think first, like Kyle says, and a bunch of people have said, the end of the season was kind of just like a tribute to everything that we've gone through. So getting to play in the playoffs, get to play in the division championship, it makes it a whole lot easier to look back and know that everything that you went through was for a reason, was for those moments. And then just getting the opportunity to play in those games, to get playoff experience, to know what it feels like to play in football games of that magnitude. It was a long, eventful, fun year, and I think really just now the hurt is just from not having anything to show for it, with all the things that this team went through, all these guys went through on a daily basis. From when we looked like there was nothing left, we were down and out. Everybody being able to fight and get stronger, get tighter as a group, and just continue to get better every single week. And it was a very fun run.
Brandon, Deebo was emotional after the game, as I'm sure all of you were, but did you share some time with him just to kind of talk and go over what happened?
I talked to him yesterday after the game. I mean, just the way that he played all season long. It was tough. It was tough talking to him and seeing him emotional. But I talked to him on the plane. We were able to kind of calm down a little bit and just get back a little bit. But I talked to him. I live about a couple of houses down from him, so I'll continue to talk to him. But yeah.
And what does the off season look like for you? Do you have any specific goals, things that you want to concentrate on specifically?
Well, I think first, this off season, I get to go into off season healthy, which is a huge blessing. Get through the entire season and come out on the clean side and be able to start the off season on my terms and be able to start working on what I want to work on. Instead of having to start the off-season rehabbing. So I just know for me, it's just preparation. I think everybody has what they want. I know I have what I think I need to prove on as a player, and they have. So I think this year is just understanding what they want and what they think the areas of improvement are for me, and getting those and coming out to OTAs or whatever it is the first time we get together, just being on the same page. But I think for me, just having my legs under me.
Couple more.
Brandon, you mentioned the chance to play in games of the magnitude that you did over the last few weeks. What was that like for you going through that for the first time, and what are the things that you'll carry with you from that experience?
It was awesome. Going out to Dallas in the first week of the playoffs and playing there, just the feelings that you get, just how different football feels out there with those guys that you work so hard with for 17, 18 weeks, getting to play in a football game like that, a playoff game, winning a game, going down to Green Bay where nobody believed that we can win with the same group of guys again. And just feeling how much tighter the group is getting, how much better we're getting every single week, how much closer everybody's getting, feeling the love that everybody has for each other, feeling what it feels like to be on a playoff team, understanding what it takes to get there and how hard it is. I think one of the main things that I learned this year was just everything that we talk about, everything that we've been through, but it obviously wasn't enough. So it's like there's even more that we have to tap into. We have to go even harder. We have to get even stronger, even better. So just understanding that we were a good football team this year, but not good enough. So just understanding that and just using that and just going harder.
Hey, Brandon, I don't mean to suggest that you weren't a willing blocker before, but it seems like you became more tenacious. Your block on Parsons, on Elijah's TD run against Dallas being an example. Did you develop more of a taste for it, or just a pride or ownership for run blocking throughout this year?
Well, I think if you turn on the tape, I think I was blocking well from week one, but I just think there was more of an understanding, more of a understanding of of the blocking assignments, of where the runs were going, of what I needed to do, and just understanding the run game a little bit more to not just be physical, but also add a level of finesse, I guess, to make blocks easier for myself, and just knowing where the ball is going to be hidden. But I think just throughout the course of the season, you just understand how big each block becomes even more and more important as the magnitude of the games get more important. So it's just like just holding yourself to that standard of the person I'm blocking is not going to make the tackle. I'm not going to be the reason why. I'm not going to let a corner or a safety fall off and be the reason our back got tackled, or be the reason why we don't bust a huge run because your guy. And I think the whole entire room and everybody kind of developed that of their guy wasn't going to be the one making the play, and that was kind of the thing from special teams to offense to defense.
Last two.
Brandon, you really have to learn more that was a huge identity of your offense. Do you think that's something you learn?
I didn't hear the question. It was breaking up.
Brandon, that wasn't a huge part of your offense. Do you expect going forward that
We're gonna go to the next one, Jake. Sorry.
Brandon, I'm just wondering whether you and Trey Lance have talked at all about the offseason and whether you've got any plans to throw with him, to work out with him, to kind of keep up with him early in the offseason.
Yeah, we have the Trey and I. We have the same trainer. We both work out together down in Southern California. So I've talked to him. I've talked to Nate as well. We'll be down there throwing together, working out together.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Ask you a broad, open-ended question. Just what's your mindset after the season you've had, coming off of the game yesterday? Where's your mind as you approach this off season?
Right now, just reflecting. To be honest, just being up here with all my teammates, coaches, just the staff, knowing what we've been through this year, just reflecting and giving people their flowers and just enjoying the moment. But as far as the off season goes, that's all in God's hands. You know, I'm a spiritual man, so I don't speak too much on what's not in my hands.
Hey, DJ, I know that you guys prided yourself so much on stopping the run this year. And yesterday at halftime, I think after half, it was -3 yards for the Rams. I'm just wondering what the message was to be able to stonewall the run like that in the second half. And then kind of on a larger picture, how proud of you are you of what you and Eric did specifically since week 8 on the inside to, I think, be the #1 run defense in football from that point forward?
To answer your first question, I mean, I feel like the second half, everybody knew what was at stake. They start their offense with the run game, and so we knew what we had to do. Didn't get the job done, but just being in there with Eric is having an opportunity to play with a guy that loves the game just as much as you do, puts as much time in it as you do, wants to win. One of the biggest competitors I've ever had the opportunity to play with. Just being able to grace the field with that whole defense. I felt like we were a force. It was special. It was a special year, man, and hopefully I can come back and continue.
Piggybacking on that a little bit, have you had time to reflect on what you guys were able to do this year, especially considering where you were halfway through the season as a team, not just you and Eric?
Yeah, I think we've been doing that along the way the entire time. I'd be sitting here lying to you if I said we hadn't talked about it. But I mean, going from 3-5 to the NFC Championship game, it was we were counted out. We were counted out from the jump. But the perseverance and determination, coaches, players, top to bottom, I'm very proud. Very proud of what we were able to do in the circumstances that we were in.
DJ, you mentioned that the off-season stuff, a lot of it is out of your control. What was in your control was how you played this year, of course. How would you evaluate your season, and how important is it for you to maybe capitalize that into something longer term in terms of a contract this offseason?
To be honest, I feel I'm always my biggest critic. I feel like there's plays out there for myself that I could have made to help the team win. And I mean, I'm gonna continue working on my pass rush, my run game. I'm gonna train harder than I ever have, and prepare for this next season.
Couple more.
Hey, DJ, I know you've talked about wanting to come back to the 49ers. Have you had any sort of, or your agent just had any sort of preliminary talks or informal talks? Do you have a sense of, how realistic it could be to come back?
No, sir. Simple as that. No, sir. I don't believe they've talked just yet, but sooner than later.
Last one.
DJ, you played in 20 games this year, and I know some of them were difficult for you to get through. You had to come off the field, but you always went back into the game. I'm just wondering if you could kind of look back on the season and articulate what it takes to play a 20-game season in this league.
It takes heart. It takes heart. Somebody like Deebo, we from the same place. We're from the same place, and to see the things his body goes through, what's the point of me standing on the sideline when my brother's out there putting his body on the line for the team, for the betterment of the team. It's a bunch of people. Eric, I'm not telling anybody's injuries, but we all got bumps and bruises. But I mean, just to know that everybody's in pain makes you want to go back out there and fight for your brothers. So it was bigger than just me, and pride for sure won't let you sit on the sideline. But I love all these guys, man, and that's really the reason I do it.
Thank you, DJ.
Thank y'all.
during the off season you were rehabbing. How much forward are you looking to be training for the 2022 season and not just trying to get your body right from a surgery?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Is this water up for grabs? I'm really excited to have a full off season just to build on what I got to last year. I wasn't really able to maximize my strength and conditioning stuff with getting my rehab right and stuff. So this year I'm going to give my knee a lot of time to just chill because I haven't really given it any rest since I got hurt. So it needs some time. And then I'm going to get back and I'm going to get in the best shape of my life for sure. And I was in the best shape of my life last year, so it's going to be another level. So I'm excited.
Nick, another thing that this offseason can be different for you is it's the first time you're eligible for a contract extension. Is that something that you think about that you would like to get done? And has there been any rumblings between your agents and the Niners on working towards something like that?
I haven't thought about that. I was just trying to finish out the year and have a great year, and that's definitely something for down the road to think about.
Nick, DJ was just in there talking about how watching Deebo, watching his teammates, all of you guys go out on the field through this 20-game season inspires you to go out there even though you might not be 100% healthy. How special is this locker room in that aspect? And then also, what did you learn about yourself this season?
Yeah, this whole team's really special. A lot of unselfish guys. Deebo, for sure, being one of them. Just going out there with bumps and bruises every week and playing running back and wide receiver for us. I mean, yeah, I could go on and on about all the guys that we have on our team, and we're good enough to win it all. So we just have to build off of it. We got the right core group of guys. So there's a lot of decisions to be made that I don't have a part in. So we'll see what happens. But and what did I learn about myself? That I could stay disciplined for a long time. I started on right after my injury and used working hard as kind of a way to cope with being injured. So I started back in what was it, November when I got hurt, or October, and then to now, so a year and few months of just straight work, not much play. So I definitely need to relax my mind and figure out how to enjoy my leisure time. It's been a while.
Nick, you guys played well. I mean, you were among the people that actually played in 20 games. You had the earliest bye week. All the late game road trips. What I know you don't have the biggest perspective, just being your third season in the league, but just the wear and tear and the way I guess guys played through some of the injuries you've noted. Was it a different level this season from what you'd experienced in your first 2 years?
No, it's the NFL. Every year's a huge grind, and you have to really mentally and obviously physically prepare yourself for 17 or 20 or 21 games, whatever you make it to. And it's a grind, but once you get into the groove, you get your body back every week and you feel good by game time usually. There's obviously times where you feel better than others. Thursday night games don't help. But it's all part of it, and I'm just happy to be with an organization that puts everything into taking care of us as best as they can.
Couple more.
Hey, Nick, as opposed to 2019 when it's, the D-line just came out completely firing out of the gate, this year you guys hit your stride, I think fully, probably around week 14 is when the numbers started pouring in from everybody. How rewarding was it to be with a group that kind of peaked at the right time and molded together? And what can you say about the next step in the development for some of your teammates like Samson?
It was fun. Just seeing everybody have success at the home stretch there. I just remember every time I'd rush the passer on third down, if I was getting double teamed, I could just count on somebody else making a play, and that's what you need, because there was double teams all over the place this year, and we figured out ways to get through them and still affect games. And then Samson, I just think he's got really a good feel for the scheme now, and it takes time. It took me some time too, my rookie year, and now the sky's the limit for him. He's just got to hone in on what he does best, pass rush wise, and he could be a top edge guy in the league for sure.
Last one.
Nick, you talk about going to be in the best shape of your life, and you're already in pretty incredible shape. But just looking at this last year, did you surprise yourself at all with how you were able to play what you were able to accomplish, or was this kind of the standard for yourself?
No, I actually did surprise myself. If you asked me what I thought I was going to be able to do a couple months before the season, I definitely don't know what I would have told you, but I just knew that I was in the right hands with who I was training with, and I knew I was doing everything right, so I just had to stick with the plan and not dwell on the bumps in the road that I dealt with along the way, and that ended up paying off. And I think my knee kind of improved throughout the entire season, so it kind of like continued the rehab process throughout the whole year. So I'm feeling health-wise as good as I've felt all year. Maybe not this second because I'm pretty sore, but I'm just really happy with how it went.
Thank you, Nick.
What did the season show you about areas where you're going to be working this offseason to improve your game in the likely event that you're the starter next season?
Yeah, I learned a ton throughout this year. It was a ton of fun. Got to learn from Jimmy, one of the best dudes, I think, in my opinion, that I could have possibly learned from, as a person, as a pro, how he handles himself. Me personally, obviously, I know I got a lot to work on, so I'm excited to kind of hit the ground running after a couple weeks off. But I'm just thankful for this opportunity, I guess, to be able to be a part of this year. I know it's not exactly answering your question of what I feel like I need to work on, but just kind of where my mind's at right now is just kind of reflecting a little bit about how thankful I am to be able to have been able to be a part of a group like this. All the way from coaching staff, personnel, athletic training staff, and obviously my teammates as well.
Trey, what is your plan for the offseason in terms of where you're going to work out, who you're going to work with, what kind of things you're planning to attack?
I haven't exactly figured it out. Don't have a calendar set. Obviously, I was planning on 2 more weeks of football with these guys, so take a couple weeks and kind of think about it and put my schedule together, and then hopefully hit the ground running when that time does come.
What was the biggest eye opener to you this year? I mean, looking back on the season, what about the NFL surprised you the most?
I don't know if I could put my finger on one thing. Just everything was new. I remember coming in, rookie mini camp. Mindset is just to come in and be able to compete and learn as much as I can, and I think I did that. We had an awesome room this year, awesome locker room. So for me, I don't know if there's one thing that necessarily surprised me, but I got to learn a ton, and the leadership that some of these guys in this locker room have is the best that I've ever been around.
Trey, one thing that's been very obvious over the last 24 hours and the last several weeks is how much this team does love Jimmy Garoppolo. Are you relishing the opportunity to become that type of leader for your team? And what specifically have you learned from him in that way that you'll be able to take into next year?
I mean, Jimmy's the man. You've heard it from everyone. It's no one's lying about it. I mean, he's inspired so many guys in this room. Everything he's played through this year, everything he's taught me, how he's handled our whole situation. Everyone put us against each other and everything like that in the media throughout this whole year, whole OTAs, everything. But he's been nothing but a big brother to me, this whole year. So whether it's competing with him at practice or sitting in the meeting room asking him questions, he's been nothing but great to me, and I've been nothing but just thankfulness for him and everything he's done and how he's handled everything. And obviously he's going to be one of my best friends for my whole entire life. So super excited, obviously, to get to spend a couple weeks with them now in these next few weeks.
Trey, you talked about what you learned in regards to football, but what did you learn about yourself this season after being kind of off in the field and off?
Just learned how to be a pro from a lot of these guys in this locker room, especially, I go back to Jimmy for everything, but it's the truth. He's the guy I spent probably the most time with throughout this whole entire season. And just the way he handles himself, on and off the field, I think is again the best I've ever been around. So for me, I'm just thankful again for the opportunity to have him be in front of me to learn from. Learned a lot about myself as far as just what I have to continue to work on. And obviously, like I said, the leaders in this locker room are guys that inspire me every day.
Trey, it's pretty cliche to talk about professional athletes being competitive, but you are known for your competitive drive. Given that, how hard was it to, from mostly sit this season and watch?
For me, it was about finding my role as soon as I knew what it was. It was Jimmy's spot. So for me, I just attacked it the way I would. The way my team needed me to is attacking my role on scout team and doing whatever I can and doing whatever I need to be ready each week.
Kyle spoke a lot about the value of running a scout team, especially when you're a young quarterback. Can you talk about that experience sort of week to week, emulating a different quarterback, and whether there were any weeks this year that stuck out to you that you found truly valuable?
Yeah, I learned a lot on scout team, being able to play as, and emulate different guys and play different playing styles that aren't necessarily my own. I think I gained a lot from it, gained a lot from playing guys who typically stay in the pocket and then going to guys like, Jalen Hurts, Justin Fields, those guys who can play off schedule at a really high level. I think I developed as a player, and obviously going against our defense, which I thought was the best defense in the league. Going against our defense every single day, obviously, every rep makes me better.
We'll do the last one with Jen.
Trey, just health-wise, are you 100% healthy, or is there anything you need to rehab as you head into the offseason?
No, I feel great. 100% healthy.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it, guys.
Doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. I know a year ago before you signed with the 49ers, you were going to kind of weigh your options and see what was out there and before determining whether you're going to play another season. Where are you from that standpoint? Do you know for sure you're coming back? Where do you kind of feel you are in your career?
After year 10, I always said I was going to take it 1 year at a time and, take the off season, see how everything felt and kind of go from there. So it's still where I'm at. And I think that process has worked well for me. Just to comment a little bit on the decision to come here, I am so thankful to be part of this organization and, be able to play this year and have the run we did. Didn't quite get it done, but I love this team. I love these guys, and I'm sure glad I made this choice.
Can't say that I'm an Alex Mack expert. I didn't study you in earlier seasons, but it seems like this was a very good year for you. And I'm just wondering how this year, 2021, compared to some of your better seasons, maybe with the Falcons.
I thought I played really good ball. That's part of the reason why I chose, this team and this offense. It's a system I know I can do really well, and I thought I played a good game. I know Firster was the first time I had him as a coach, and I think he was great. I learned a lot. I had a really great relationship with him, and really thankful to be able to come here and learn something new. And that's, I didn't really think I was going to really do that in year 13, and so it was a nice surprise to come here and develop and keep working hard and keep adding little tricks to my game.
Alex, you obviously are someone who has a very close relationship with Jimmy Garoppolo. Have you had time to process the fact that it's going to be possibly without him next year? And did you have a moment just to kind of share with him after the game last night?
After the game, just everybody really, the general consensus of everybody was, man, like, sorry didn't get it done this year, but man, I appreciate you. And pretty much exactly what I said to Jimmy was, what a fun ride. Really appreciate you and all the work you've done. Great to be your teammate. Just appreciate you. And that's pretty much where we've left it, because no one really knows what the future holds.
Many of your teammates have talked about this locker room and how special it is and how special this run was. Is it different than other locker rooms that you've been in? Is this seem to be a closeness that you haven't seen previously?
I think this was a good group. I think we had a lot of guys that worked really hard, and everyone was really tight. And when you go through a lot in a season with ups and downs, it makes you tighter. And I think it really cements it into being a tight-knit group when you go through adversity and then you turn that corner and start having a lot of success, which we did. I think that really, makes everything good. The best way to have a really happy locker room is to win a lot of games. And I think we did that.
After you signed, I think you said, something to the effect of, I'm not what I once was, but I'm still pretty good. I was like, oh no, is he just kind of hanging on here? But did you surprise yourself at all this year with the way you played, or were you confident you could still, attain that level?
I was confident I could, play at that level. That's part of the reason why, I take the off season to see how I'm feeling, because I know what it takes to play a full year, and it's tough. It's a lot of commitment and a lot of work, and it's taxing on the body. And I felt confident coming into this year that, I can get this done. I can do the job, and let's make a run. And, we went pretty far.
All right. Thank you, Alex.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
yesterday. You were the first person in the room, in the interview room, to talk to us. In the hours that have passed, how have you kind of coped with the heartbreak of losing that game yesterday?
I kind of never accept the part that we lost, but I gotta get over myself and realize we had an outstanding season. We end up winning 10 games in the regular season, 2 in the postseason, made it to the NFC Championship. Man, there's not a lot of players that actually played an NFL game that actually can say that they actually made it even to the playoffs. So making it to the NFC Championship, I know we lost, so I can't really count that as an accomplishment. But at the same time, that's still a great season.
Jimmy, when you look back early in the season when you guys were 3-5, was there a point where you ever felt you wouldn't have gotten to the point of getting to the NFC Championship game, and how difficult was that to deal with?
There was a lot of doubt. There's a lot of negativity in the media. In the locker room, it didn't seem too negative. You could feel the vibes in the locker room. Everybody was still coming to work and keeping their head up and trying to help to dig ourselves out this hole, which we end up doing too. So I just felt like we had a lot of players on this team from that 2019 team, so we kind of led. A lot of those players led the way, and we end up making it to the NFC Championship.
It looks like for all the world that Ambry Thomas will be a starter at cornerback going into the offseason. Can you talk about his the arc, the evolution that he went through from beginning of the season until now?
Oh, he just had to find his confidence. That's about it, man. I'm gonna say he when you come into this league, I'm trying to just piggyback on when I was a rookie in this league, and you just go in each game. You just see a guy, who you've been playing with on Madden, on the video game, and you've been hearing this and that guy. You've been watching them when you was a kid in college, and you end up playing against these guys, guarding against these guys, competing against these guys. So he just had to realize that the moment is not too big for him. That this is the moment where he can separate himself from the rest of the rookies, and I feel like he attacked it. I feel like he attacked it well. It took some time, but he figured it out, and I feel like that's one thing about it. A lot of rookies, you'll see them give up plays and all that, but at the end of the day, if they stay healthy and they stay on the field, eventually, the game gonna slow down for them, and then they're gonna make plays.
Jimmy, now that you're an old man in the NFL, you've seen tons of quarterbacks. What is it about Trey Lance? I mean, when you have seen him, obviously in a couple games with practices, that you say, these are the special qualities he has?
Well, we know he can throw a football. We know that much. Got a lot of power in his arm. We know he's an athlete, all right. Well, we all athletes, but I'm saying he's athletic. So he likes to move around in the pocket to throw the ball, extend downs. Some of the stuff that you see Jimmy doing from time to time. You see Patrick Mahomes doing. You see the Kyler Murray's doing. You see Aaron Rodgers doing. He has that. He has that inside of him, and he's a competitor. He's a big body too. I don't really know how big he is, but he's big and he's physical and he's young too. So his body is only going to fill out even more, as he get older.
Last one, Jen.
Jimmy, you spoke about how there's a lot of guys who were there from 2019. Several of your teammates, especially in the secondary, signed for a one-year deal to stay here. Have you wrapped your head around the fact that the roster could look very different next year? And what do you think about where the future is of the secondary for the 49ers?
Yeah, I thought about that. I thought about that at the beginning of the year. Each we know this. It's the business side. Each year, the team's gonna change. It's gonna be somebody who's gonna either go to another team, and it could be a heartbreaker. It's always a heartbreaker. Like when we lost Buckner, and when they dealt him, that was, man. He was a great teammate, phenomenal leader, great family man, and you seen how he helped change the Colts culture over there. So it's same thing's gonna happen, and I trust in John and Kyle, and I feel like whatever guys they probably gonna offer some of the guys who they want, who they feel like can help us to go to win a ring this year, this 2022, 2023 season, and they probably gonna draft some people or go to free agency. So I trust in them to do their job, and that's what they're getting paid for.
All right, thank you guys.
Jenny.
Your rookie season is over. Uh, how banged up were you? How difficult was it for you to get through this season with all the bumps and bruises and injuries that you endured?
Like I say, I say football is always a challenge, but like I say, I fought through it and got through it, so it was good after that.
Elijah, first of all, congratulations on your rookie season. I know that you guys didn't get the finish that you wanted. However, for you personally, it was a lot of growth, and you were thrown out on the field unexpectedly after the previous running back got injured. What do you think was your biggest growth, whether it be physical or mental, and what are you proud of individually?
Thank you, first of all, and like I say, mentally, that was the biggest thing, mentally wise. But for myself, I'm happy with the things I did, but I know I have more, and I know I could have gave more, also. But like you said, we came up short, but like I said, it just adds fuel to the fire for next year.
Elijah, as a rookie coming into this particular locker room that dealt with a lot of adversity and got through it, what did you learn about perseverance and how you want to develop as a leader in the coming seasons?
Like I say, I did some good stuff this year, but I definitely next year want to be able to, be a leader too, even though it'd be my second year. But I know what this team has and what we could be, and like I say, we lost, and it just horrible for us. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely want to be a leader next year and be able to step up and give more.
Elijah, excuse me. I know there are only kind of limits to what you can do as an NFL running back who gets 27 carries or 25 or 23 carries a game. But that being said, I mean, is there anything like this season has taught you about how you could train or prepare for that type of workload and punishment if it's like that again in season 2?
Yeah, definitely. I learned a lot. Like I said, got to build my body up more. Like you said, I get the ball a lot, so that's one thing I have to do. And this off season, you know what I'm saying, I gotta work like a receiver too. I know we do a lot of stuff catching the ball and stuff, so that's one of my plans to do this off season.
Elijah, it was a long season. What did you learn about yourself through playing 20 games, and what was the most surprising thing about the NFL for you?
Playing 20 games, I know, knowing now, you got to really take care of yourself because it's a long season. You know what I'm saying? And that's not something that we're used to being your first year. And what was the second question again?
What you learned about yourself?
What I learned about myself, it don't matter what I go through, injury-wise, whatever. I can always fight through it. And really, just every time I get out there, just give it all I got.
You just mentioned this, but where are you as a receiver, and specifically, what are you going to work on receiving wise this off season?
Like I said, I can catch the ball, so just got to work on running routes and stuff, and being able to just be out there more.
Thank you, Elijah.
Thank you.
Deebo, what's your end of season verdict on wide back? I mean, if the 49ers told you that the role that you had in the playoffs, for example, would be your role for the upcoming season, is that okay with you? Would you like that?
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with it. Like I stated all year long, I'm down for whatever to help this team win in every aspect of this.
Eva, what's your immediate plans as far as just getting your body right, getting your mind right, and then the approach to get ready for 2022? Do you take some time off before you jump back in the grind?
Yeah, what's so crazy was I got in the locker room and I ain't seen my son in a month since he was born, so I was like I get to go home, but then they come up to me, they was like, Pro Bowl is this coming weekend, so I was like, God, I totally forgot about that. But after that, what I'm saying, go spend time with my fam, especially my son. And then, what I'm saying, you gotta take time off for your body, your mind. So take a couple vacations before I get back to training.
So I assume that means you are going to the Pro Bowl. And what are you looking forward to that? Seeing other people who are at the absolute tops of the league and sharing experiences with them?
Of course. I think one of the main reason I was, said I was going just to, kind of take my mind off what just happened yesterday and it just kind of clear my mind. Well, at least help, even though it still hurts a little bit, but, it'll help kind of clear my mind a little bit, just being around guys in the league.
Deebo, and not seeing your son for a month, did that add like kind of a mental aspect of difficulty that maybe you weren't prepared for?
It was kind of tough a little bit. Even though I call and talk to him every day, but not physically, be there and hold him and hug him and this, that, and the third. But it's just part of this profession. I could have seen him, but with all this COVID and all this stuff going on, I wouldn't risk him getting on the plane, especially at that age. So I just told myself, just keep pushing and I'll be able to see him soon.
Hey, Deebo, a couple of your teammates today have talked about what you played through. I don't think you were really on the injury report with much, but they indicated maybe you were dealing with stuff that wasn't on the injury report. Um, was this, tough for you, or did you surprise yourself with what you were able to withstand?
Yeah, I kind of had this conversation with one of my close friends about how this year went, and kind of like I asked him, I was like, "Did you think the year was gonna be this way?" He was like, "Yeah," and then he said, "Did you?" I was like, "Nah, not really." But as time progressed, and some teams get better, some teams get worse, some players get better, some players get worse as the season go, and I just feel like us as a whole and all the other players around just got better, and we were just able to put ourselves in a position to be where we was at, and just fell up short.
Deebo, a lot was put on your plate this year on the offense. Going through it, what did you learn about yourself, and did it surprise you how you were able to produce on the offense?
It did kind of catch me by surprise about all the things that I was able to do and accomplish this year, but it's just like I stated a while ago. It's just a trust thing that I've built with Kyle and Mike and all the other guys, just to get the ball in my hands, just to be able to go out there and just do what they know I can do.
Deebo, you've made it clear how much you enjoy being here, playing for Kyle and your teammates there. How much of a priority is it for you this offseason to get a contract extension done? It'll be the first time you're eligible for that.
That is not my call. That is out of my hands.
You guys good? Thank you, Deebo.
Ah, there we go. I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. What did you get out of this season as far as you saw a lot more playing time in the base defense? How do you feel that your game was able to expand with that role?
I think obviously like being able to play more. Like this is the most I've been able to play in the last 3 years. So it allowed me to just be able to pick up on things more. I mean, I got use a comparison like we talk about a lot, but like with Fred, Fred from his rookie year, being able to see the same snaps, get the same reps at the same position for 3-4 years. I mean, you see how well he's excelled. So I think like getting the opportunity to finally like be able to show what I can do on a weekly basis has just allowed me to become a better player and be able to just kind of rely more on my instincts and things that I've seen from prior weeks and stuff like that allowed me to take my game to another level.
Hey, Aziz, by the end of the season, you had the unique double brace look. You're dealing with a knee injury. How hard was this from a physical standpoint just to get through this entire season?
It was tough, I think, for everybody. Obviously, for me with the elbows and the knee, but for me, I think it just like I play hard, and obviously our whole team plays hard. So you see a lot of guys dealing with stuff throughout the whole year that are just going to keep fighting, and that's just what we do. It's going to keep fighting until we literally don't have anything left. So, I mean, obviously I wish there was a next week, and if there was, I would have went out there with hobbling 2 elbow braces and 2 knee braces if that's what it took to play. And then, look at somebody like Dre who missed most of the season, and he's coming back from the groin, and then he has something else that pops up, and he's still fighting. Like our whole team and our whole room, we all deal with our own injuries. Fred with the ankle at one point. So, I mean, we're just going to keep fighting until there really is nothing left.
This is a team that may be transitioning to a new quarterback, a young quarterback in the upcoming season. What kind of progress? What's been your observation of Trey Lance going against him in practice each week?
I think just every week you just see, like, I talked about with myself, the more reps you get, the better you're at. And I think, like, every week you saw, like, early on, okay, he's just kind of just throwing the ball around. It might have been a little careless or whatever. And then, like, over the time period, like, those windows where you might have picked him off in week 1 through 3 while he's on scout team at quarterback, now towards the end of the year, like, he's throwing dimes. And it's like, dang, like, I thought I was going to make that play, but I mean, he might look you off and throw the ball one way or whatever it was. And I just remember, like, you're getting, like, game reps with this guy, in on scout team. And I think, like, you tremendously saw a difference from the beginning of the year for him versus the end. I mean, that's just what you want to see with any player, but especially, a rookie. You finally getting a chance to go throughout a whole year with the system.
Aziz, will you need any off-season procedures on the elbows or knees or anything? And kind of what's your plan to come back next season and prepare for, a 17-plus game season?
Yeah, I mean, from right now, from what I know, no. It's more so just going to be rest. It's just one of those things where, it's bad enough during the season where, you're really battling through some things. But, obviously, when you have nothing but time to heal up and take care of yourself, then it'll fix up. So hopefully that's the plan. That's what I'm doing right now with our exit physicals and meetings and stuff to truly make sure and find out. But, yeah, I mean, that's the goal right now.
Jaquaski Tart was really hard on himself last night about missing that interception. Did you talk with him, and how do you look back at the season and the accomplishments you all made?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, the entire team, like, really had his back, but especially just with me talking to him, like, letting him know, like, at the end of the day, like, we all play a game together. Like, it's no one moment that I think Jordan Willis put it into perspective last week when a play that he made. And he talked about that one play not being the play that defines the whole team and the whole year, because it doesn't. And that's just the reality of it. Like, every play throughout the game is the play, and obviously at the end of the game when you see different things happening, like, oh, it was his fault, or oh, it was my fault for a penalty, oh, it was so-and-so's fault for whatever. Like, people who don't play the game won't understand it. But when you're in it and you're going to war with these guys, I mean, we were 3-5, where everybody counted us out, and every single week, like, we got to prove to somebody, like, we just stopped caring. We just play for each other, and I think, like, at the end of the day, like, that's how we're gonna rally around it to the very end. Like, regardless of what happened at the end, I think we were just all gonna be there for each other. So I could care less about him dropping that pass or catching it. Regardless, like, we still have a chance. Every game we play, no matter who it is that makes a mistake, we always believe we have a chance to win, and we still do that. At the end, we still have a chance to win, and that's all you can ask for.
Are you guys good? All right, thank you, Aziz.
No problem.
Eric, I don't think you're actually on the injury report, but I think DJ mentioned, obviously you dealt with stuff, as I'm sure everyone else did, on a 20 game season. How taxing was this? I guess maybe in particular, I think you guys had the earliest bye week of the year. I mean, just to get through these late games, did it feel differently than any of your other seasons?
Yeah, it was definitely difficult. It was a long year, and especially, the hole we dug ourselves in early in the year. Really, the down the stretch, last, 6 games of the regular season. I kind of having to win every single one to have a chance, and then going straight into the playoffs. And so yeah, it was definitely taxing, and demanding. But it was all worth it.
Eric, the defense made some huge strides, and it seemed to kind of coincide with the shift of you full-time inside. Did you ever view that as a sacrifice that you were making for the team? Did you like that previous role of being base in and then inside pass rusher? And how do you see your future now with the team as far as where you're going to be lining up?
I mean, I saw it as a sacrifice in terms of, having to do something, make a sacrifice to switching positions, something that, I wasn't necessarily comfortable with or haven't practiced or done in years. But I saw it as, beneficial for me and, our team to go in there and play a different role. I feel like, it was helpful for my career, growing as a player, as a leader, showing I can, really play any position I choose to play on the defensive line. And, I felt like I could have a bigger impact on the game. I felt like when I was playing end, I think what I do best is, stopping the run when I play end and pass rushing from the interior. And, when I was playing end, I feel like teams were just running away from me and, not letting me have a big impact in the game. Once I moved inside, I was able to, use my technique and my knowledge to make plays and have a bigger impact and, help us win games. So, it was a great year to, and it was a challenge, but, I accepted it with open arms and, tried to do my best.
Eric, you've obviously at this point in your career played with a lot of quarterbacks, seen a lot of quarterbacks. What did you see from Trey Lance this year, just in his few games and in practice that might make him a special quarterback in this league?
Definitely very talented. Doesn't seem to get rattled. And I'm excited for his future and his career, and I can't wait to see what he does. I'm sure everyone's excited and ready, to see it. And I'm a big fan of his. He's a great guy, great teammate. It's been great getting to know him this year. He's been a great rookie, coming in as a young guy. Not talking too much, learning, and trying to figure out, what his career is going to look like in the NFL. So I'm excited to see it.
You just touched on what I wanted to ask. I mean, the locker room hasn't been open to us in a couple of years now, and we can't really see the interplay that a Trey Lance has with the rest of the locker room. How has he sort of, been in the locker room, and does he go up to you or other veterans for advice? How has he acted?
Just one of the guys. He came in and, that's what you want to see out of a young player is, someone who doesn't, think they know everything. They just come in and they're eager to learn. They're eager to be a part of integrating into the culture, and I think that's what he did this year.
Eric, you've been with this franchise for a long time now. This season, was there anything that surprised you or that was extremely different through what you guys went through and just overall?
Surprising, I think, each season brings different challenges. I can't say I was surprised about how we responded, but I know, the other side of how things can go too when you don't have the start you want. And so I wouldn't say that was surprising, but, I think that was, great to see and great to be a part of, and great to experience, with my teammates in terms of us banding together and, keep fighting and put ourselves in a position to, be minutes away from winning the NFC Championship. And, we fell short of that, but, the experience was great. A lot of ups and downs, and, we all embrace them all, and we keep playing, for one another. And, it was just great to be a part of this team this year, and, no regrets really.
Are you guys good? Thank you, Eric.
All right.
You doing?
I'm all right, man. How you doing today?
Doing well. I know everybody kind of copes with a game like that in their own way. What was your process to kind of put that thing to bed, or have you?
I mean, it might take a little while longer for me to put it to bed. You know, it's I don't know what to tell you, man. It's everything we've been through all year. From the early struggles we had to get to this point and come up short. It's tough, and it's gonna take a little bit longer to kind of process this one.
Hey, Lakin, I assume you want to come back to the 49ers. Have you or your agent had any sort of preliminary talks, or have you gotten kind of a sense of what direction that could go?
I mean, I love it here, and I've like kind of like watched myself, develop into the man, the player, the husband and the father, the character that I am today. And, that all started with, getting traded here to the 49ers. And, I owe a lot of thank yous to a lot of people that had faith in me in here. I mean, I would love to stay, but I know it's a business, and, we'll see what's happened. But, I love it here. I always loved it here, and, everyone's been great to me here.
Lincoln, kind of following up on both of those, obviously it's a tough loss just in general, but how much does that kind of uncertainty that you have about what's next factor into maybe your emotions about what happened last night?
I mean, nothing really. Honestly, I haven't really thought. I made it a point to not really think about that stuff till I needed to, and I thought I did a pretty good job, throughout the year, and and that's just a reflection of like just what kind of organization that's here with the Niners, creating that environment to allow me to work, and it wasn't really a thought for me. I just came to work every day because I truly believe, deep down in my heart that, we're a special team. I still do today.
Lakin, would you be open to saying specifically what it is about this organization that did help you to grow, as I believe you said, a man, a husband, and a father?
I mean, honestly, is that everybody being real. When I first got here, I mean, I didn't know, what my career was going to shape out to, when I first got here. And, but I had a lot of people who believed in me, when I first got here, obviously, Kyle and Lynch, but I also had, great teammates along the way, and Joe Staley and, everybody, back then, and all the guys, on this team this year, especially in the offensive line room. So, it's been a extremely healthy working environment here, and that's something that's something truly special, because once you have that, as a team, it makes it a lot easier to grind through the tough times as a team.
Lakin, as someone who spends so much time with Jimmy Garoppolo and not knowing what the future holds, did you take a little time to have a moment with him, have a little chat with him before, I guess, after the game last night and today?
Yeah, I talked to Jimmy, and but it's just mostly I just wanted to thank him personally, like everything he'd been through, because like all his stuff is like it's a lot more out there, and something he has to deal with every day, and but throughout all of it, he's just been professional, and he's continued to be a leader, and took everything with great optimism, and helped the team to get to where we got. So that's what I wanted to tell him, man. And he's a hell of a guy, and I respect the hell out of him, man. He's a hell of a competitor, and things that he's been through throughout his career, you can tell that this dude really can. He really loves the guys on the team.
And what did you see from Trey Lance this year that suggests he might be ready to take over next season?
I mean, Trey came in, and obviously with the situation they had, he's been nothing but like a sponge. He was absorbing everything that guys, the coaches been throwing at him, and he's an amazing young man, and the future is bright for him, and I'm excited for him.
All right, thank you, Lakin.
Thanks, guys.
You opened your comments yesterday expressing remorse for that play. Any other thoughts on that? Did you look at it again? Have you had an opportunity to reach out to anybody with the Rams? And do you plan to if you haven't?
I mean, it's something I would for sure want to. If and when I do see him again face to face, I for sure let him know to his face. That I for sure am regretful and apologize for doing what I did. But I mean, I feel the exact same way after what I said last night. Nothing much more to be said about it.
You had some rookies on your defense this year that ended up playing a lot of snaps. Ambry Thomas, Talanoa Hufanga. What can you say about their evolution? Ambry was a guy who wasn't getting much playing time to start the season, but obviously was by year's end?
Yeah, you mentioned those guys both did admirable jobs. Like, just continued to get better and better throughout the year. And I mean, Ambry's story is incredible in my eyes. Like, because I remember that training camp, and he was kind of on the line of just couldn't quite get it, wasn't quite getting it, and just made a complete 180. Like, I mean, and just came around and came up huge for us in the end here on this run, and was very had a huge contribution to our defense and this team. So, and obviously Huff as well. He was playing for us all season long and did great things for us. And that rookie year is always a special one, and you can go one of two ways after having a good rookie year. You can put your head down, keep working, and have a big jump going into year two, or you rest on your laurels and you don't have as good of a second year. So I know those guys are both built the right way, and they'll come back better than ever.
I don't know if you've had much time to really, not necessarily reflect, but just plan forward. What is your plan as far as just recharging mentally, physically, and then starting that process again for 2022?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I seriously haven't had much time in the last few hours to think about it. My sincere belief was we were going to the Super Bowl, and so now that that's not happening, I do have to take that time to reflect and figure out what I'm going to do. But there's always kind of like that time where you gotta let the body recover, right, before you really get back into it. But I want to really utilize this time the right way to set myself up to really attack it hard.
Fred, I'm asking just because the way you described Ambry Thomas this summer, teams don't generally cut rookie third-round picks, but did you ever think this guy might be in danger of not surviving?
No, not necessarily. I think it just came off on it. He just hadn't played football in so long. Like, I mean, he's a rookie. He's young, very young. There's just little things like that you need a player to like kind of catch on to, and you need him to just come along to be able to finally give him meaningful play time and stuff. And it took him a little longer, and that's how it goes sometimes with guys. And they drafted him because they knew of his ability, a 4-3 corner with the size and length and all and instincts that he has, and it just took him a little time to figure it out. And I feel like he is one of the biggest reasons for why we've made it to this point. Like, the fact that he did what he did is incredible, and I've got a lot of respect for Ambry in the way that he battled, because that's not easy to come out and from where he was and to grow and become the player that he was for us.
Fred, obviously you were very honest with us throughout the year when you felt like you weren't playing up to your own standard for yourself, and were able to get back on track. How much of, when you do get a chance to reflect on the season for you personally, will it be just a point of emphasis to make sure that you can get that consistency back to where it was and put a whole season together?
Yeah, 100%. I don't like to guarantee anything. I think everybody was harping on me early in the season about the comment I made last season about, as long as I'm here, there'll never be a losing season ever again. Like stuff like that. I'm made of the right stuff. I am. I'll make sure that I come back and I leave no doubt from here on out. And that's all. I am proud of the way that I finished this deal. But the start and kind of through the ups and downs of the seasons, that that's not me. That's not my standard. I've set such a high standard that now you've got to be able to maintain that. And I'm fully willing to take all that on. There's a lot more work to be done. I haven't even scratched my ceiling. I can be a lot better.
Brett, some ground you plowed throughout the season, but I don't know if you specifically said, like, you were yelling at Trey, or you guys exchange heated words when you're challenging him to, hey, you need to be better than this, in practice and challenge the defense. Did you guys bond a little? Did you get closer through that experience, like two competitors kind of going at each other? And did you gain respect for him for the way he did respond to that?
Yeah, absolutely. You always for sure get closer with teammates when you're competing, against one another day in and day out. And I think me and Trey are very similar in a lot of ways, on and off the field, just as individuals. And so that's why I feel like him and I can relate to one another. I think he's as professional as they come, very mature for his age, and I think he's built of the right stuff to continue to grow and get better, as he goes throughout his career.
Read this roster had a lot of guys who were there for 2019, and I know you don't want to compare, but have you kind of wrapped your head around the fact that the defense could look very different next year? And then also, what did you learn about yourself through all of this?
I'm sorry. Say that first part of the first part of that question one more time.
While it's very different than 2019, have you wrapped your head around the fact that it could look even more different next year?
I see. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, that's just like, that's how this business goes, right? It's never the same team year in and year out. There's always going to be turnover, and of course, I want us to try and keep as many guys as we can, but you know, that's just the business, and whatever happens, and we're going to ride with whoever we got come next season.
Last one, Barrows.
It sounds as if you feel like Trey is sort of a kindred spirit to you, and I'm just wondering how often that happens with an offensive player. I would think that that's fairly rare for a guy who usually plays defense.
Yeah, I mean, when I say that we're similar, I speak in terms of two young guys coming in, just being mature for their age and that type of thing. And I think as a rookie quarterback, on the scout team, it's hard to kind of like get after, the 4-year middle linebacker on the other team, right? But he does it through his play, and I think as he grows more comfortable and confident in his game, like that's when the chirping and all that kind of stuff will come out, just like it did for me. Like I wasn't chirping at Jimmy, in my first year, but now I'm the guy who's kind of like, really from a vocal standpoint, getting after people, just because I feel like that's my way of getting the best out of everyone, and making it a competitive environment. But I think just with the conversations that I've had with Trey off the field too, I feel like we're very similar in that way.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, guys, thanks.
Doing all right. How y'all doing?
Doing well. Don't know if you recall this from last year, but every year the San Francisco chapter of the Pro Football Writers named the winner of the Gary Niver Award. Gary was a longtime sports writer in the Bay Area, passed away in the early 90s. It goes to the 49ers player who is most cooperative and professional in dealing with the media. This year we have co-winners.
Oh, yeah?
Yours and Jimmy Garoppolo is a co-winner. And also,
my boy Jimmy.
This is the 29th year of the award, and there's been 26 different people who've won it.
Wow!
So we like to kind of spread the wealth around a little bit.
Yeah.
But for a second year in a row, you've been just so good, so open, so accommodating that you are a co-winner, yourself and Jimmy. So congratulations, Trent.
Appreciate it, man. Thank y'all. Appreciate it. You know, it's a little silver lining in this.
Yeah. Well, a lot of silver linings probably for you with the season you had and the stuff you dealt with. Can you kind of sum it up, like what this season meant to you personally?
It meant a lot for me. Just coming back last year off of so much time off, you know, I felt like I got in my groove, but it took me a little minute, you know, and it was sometimes where, you know, I felt the rust more times than others, and it was sometimes just you know, just not being in the building for a year and a half, the monotonous of it just every day, you know, I think that was something I had to get back used to. But I think this year I was able to come in, you know, of course not on a 1-year prove it deal, but you know, with a team that seen me in the long-term plans, I was able to get a pretty good off-season, you know, training with some direction, knowing where I'm going, knowing what scheme I'll be playing in. So I think that allowed me to come here this season and kind of play a more consistent brand of football and, you know, be more of who I thought I could be and I should be. And, you know, and I just appreciate the organization for that. They gave me the surroundings to be able to come out and be one of the better players that in the league, or, you know, in my opinion.
Trent, you're very close to Deebo, and he was very emotional after the game last night. I suppose all of you were. Did you take some time to talk with him, and how did your relationship develop? I mean, it's not necessarily the closest positions that you would consider being really close friends, but you guys have done that.
Yeah, you know, I met Deebo through Jared McKinnon a couple years ago, before I was ever set to come here. And, you know, I always admired his film. Just watched my 19 year, I sat out and just watching him. And I just never seen a player that dynamic that can do what he can do with the football in his hands. And, you know, so I was already a fan of him, a fan of his work. And then he came to my gym to train with Jet, and that's where we initially met. And, you know, obviously became workout partners, and, you know, he came back, stayed at my house, worked out with me. You know, he got up at all times of the night with me to go work out. So, you know, that's where we really developed our relationship. And then me joining the team obviously doubled down on that. And I was able to see him every day, so we got closer and closer. But, you know, Deebo, as good a player as he is, he's a better teammate. And that's why he has so many close friends in the locker rooms, because he's such an easy guy to get along with, and you know, on Sundays he's gonna give you everything he got.
Fred, just following up on what Matt said, thank you for all your help this year. We appreciate you a lot. You mentioned you felt like you were one of the better players in the league this year. Do you feel like this was your best season in the NFL? And if so, in what ways did you get to that level? How did you get there?
I do feel like this was my best year. And I feel like last year was my best year until this point. So, yeah, I got there by just working my tail off. You know, offensive line, it's so many bases to cover when you're talking about being a good offensive lineman. There's so many intricacies to our game. It's more of an art than it is anything. So there's a ton of work that has to be put in, and luckily, I would say I was blessed enough to get with Adrian Peterson young in my career after my rookie year. And he taught me how to work. He taught me how to work when nobody else was making me work. It's easy to go in there and do it when your strength coach or your position coach is yelling at you, or you'll get a fine for not being there. But when you have months off at a time and you have money in your bank account to go any place in the world and travel and do all of these other things that people dream of doing, when you put all that to the side to continue to work, I think it says a lot about the character of that person or player. And that's what I want to be, and that's where I learned it from, and that's the blueprint. That's how I continue to work, and that's why I continue to try to come and get better each year.
Hey, I remember in training camp, I think you said something about, Trey Lance could be, or you had very strong praise in him as a generational talent, but you were very impressed with him. How did he, obviously he started at a pretty high point, I guess, in your estimation, but how did he continue to grow throughout his rookie season, and what do you think is possible for him next year?
Well, I think he grew a tremendous amount, and and Trey is a very inquisitive person. He doesn't. He's not one of the people that think he knows it all. He's somebody who comes to learn and comes to work, and he's always picking brains around no matter what position you play. Like, we even had a talk last night about just quarterback playing how it marries up with offensive linemen and stuff like that. For like an hour or so. So he's that type of individual, and I think this year it played out just how everybody in the organization thought it would. They wanted to give him a year to kind of continue to develop as being a 21-year-old. Just was old enough to buy his first beer or a pack of cigarettes like a few months ago. So you don't want to we can't just put the weight of the world on his shoulders. Even though he is a young man who can handle it. But, I think it went exactly how we wanted it to go. He developed very nicely on the practice squad. He was 1-1 as a starter. Should have been 2-0. He came in and won a game for us when we was in playoff mode. Because if we would have lost that game, we wouldn't have been in the playoffs, and it wouldn't have been in yesterday. So, I definitely think he came in and did what he was supposed to do. He was in there. He helped him and Jimmy fed off each other, informed each other. He learned, and we'll see what next year brings. Hopefully he get a full off season to kind of, work in the right direction, know what he's working for after going through a full season. And, I have no doubt in my mind that he can be he is a generational talent, and, now it's just putting that talent with the work ethic and making it come together on Sundays.
Hey Trent, now that the season's over, I can't help but think back to that night when you signed in the offseason and Mack signed too, and you got those two veteran fixtures on the offensive line. Since you guys went through this whole journey as a team, crawling out of that hole at 3-5, how do you reflect on that as far as how the offensive line gelled with you and Alex being two of the centerpieces? And then spinning that forward, how excited are you moving forward? Because I know you started to dabble in some cool stuff there at the end, like the motion that they ran with you. How excited are you to continue to build on some of that moving forward?
Yeah, to answer your first question, I think I told Alex last night we wouldn't be here without him. Just the way that he can go and diagnose the defense at the line and get everybody going in the right direction. Just the massive wealth of knowledge that he has about football and schemes, and there's never a look he hasn't seen. Alex was a blessing for us, this year, definitely something we needed. We needed that veteran presence as a center, and to get everybody headed in the right direction. So, he definitely brought a lot to this team. I think it showed, And what was the second question again? I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, with the packages. Yeah, from the motion. And, I was just telling Mike, I appreciate him for, I feel like what they're doing and what they've decided to do with me, just not even with the motion stuff, but as much as they put on my plate with every game plan. I think they allowed the world to kind of see, what all I possess as a player, not just, kicking back and pass blocking, but actually getting out in space and being able to, show off my athleticism, being able to show that I can do different schemes. But ultimately, I think with the stuff and the motion stuff and, the silver spirit is what we call it. I think it's innovative. I think it'll change the game. I mean, we know if you see a lineman running in full speed motion from here on, you know where they got it from. So I think, we can hang our hat on and say, we kind of started a trend, or we could transform the game or how offensive linemen are looked at. But I am definitely excited about to see, what more we can add to that, and, hopefully it can be, I ain't gonna say a staple in his offense, but it'll be a new wrinkle.
Trent, I mean, the line did just seem to gel pretty well as the season went along, but what kind of sense do you have of what it might look like just to the right of you next year? I mean, do you have a sense that a lot of these guys are coming back, or there's going to be an influx of youth coming into the line?
I don't know that at right now. I know, obviously, Lakin is a free agent, and it's one guy that myself, I know probably more than anybody in the organization would definitely want back, and definitely know that we need him back. He's a very instrumental piece to this offense. So, it's one of those things, the business of it. We'll see how free agency play out. But whatever it is, whatever he get, he deserves it tenfold. And, he's a guy that we can't do it without. So hopefully he's back. But, other than that, hopefully we get Mike back, McGlinchey back, and, get some of the younger old linemen into the fold, get Banks, they've had their red shirt year, and Colton had a pretty good year to build off of. Even Jalen got a start in, got some reps to build off of. So, I think we're in a good position to have a strong and deep offensive line room the next year as well, if we can bring Lakin back.
My colleagues here have asked you a lot of good questions. This probably doesn't qualify as a good question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. I noticed the flowers on your left breast, and then yesterday you had the flamingo and the teddy bear, I believe.
Yeah.
What's the story behind that?
Oh, it was just a jacket. I think it was I forgot what collection it was from. It's a Louis Vuitton jacket. I just, I thought I wanted to make a little splash for the NFC Championship game. These flowers right here is just a little sweatsuit and something to come get an extra physical in.
With Jimmy Garoppolo's future uncertain, did you take a little time to have a chat with him, talk to him after the game or today?
Yeah. Not even the fact that his future is uncertain, just the fact that, we're gonna go on a little, extended break, and we miss those guys. You see them every day, man. It's family. So, I'm not really thinking about him not being here. I understand the way the business goes. I think Jimmy has played, well enough to where he'll be a starter for somebody, even if it's not here. And I think he's put himself in position. He's won enough games to where, he's a serious competitor. But I'm not, I would never really sitting here thinking about how it would be without him. I was just letting him know how thankful we was to have him to continue to fight through all those, injuries he had, and most quarterbacks probably would have shut it down. And Jimmy G is a warrior, man. He's a fighter, and that's why this team loves him to death.
Last one.
I like that, Trent. That's exit interview attire. Not sure we can pull that off, but you certainly do. I wanted to ask you. You said you're going to see how you felt once that everything wore off last night. What does it feel like, once everything wears off? And I just wanted to ask you about, there was one play where you kind of got bent backwards and looked like it couldn't have been, I'm not sure which ankle it is right now, but it couldn't have been good on either ankle. It was in the second quarter, and you had kind of a problem, getting back up after that. Can you just describe if you could feel your ankle, what that felt like.
Oh yeah, I definitely felt that one. That's why I didn't want to get up. But yeah, it actually sucks, man. Just being since they share stadiums, they got to paint their logo before every game. So I don't know who brilliant idea that was, but like you putting these high paid athletes on, when you standing on that paint, it's like wood almost, so it's like I was unfortunate enough to be on that paint when I was trying to anchor a bull rush, and my left leg, which is not the injured leg, it slipped first, and then the weight shifted to my right leg, which is the injured leg, and then you see it got kind of twisted up. So yeah, that was pretty painful. I know it woke it up a lot. So whatever I wasn't feeling, I felt everything after that.
All right, thank you, Trent.
All righty. Y'all take care. Appreciate y'all again. Thank you.